Hi everyone, in this colored pencil basics video, I will be sharing two of my favorite techniques to preserve highlights when drawing with colored pencils. Now if you have worked with transparent mediums like watercolor before, you will know that it is quite easy to preserve the white spaces with the use of masking fluid. You just have to apply it on paper, wait for it to dry, apply your color, and you can then simply remove the masking fluid for clear white paper to show through. Now in the case of opaque mediums like gouache, acrylic and oils, it's quite easy to bring in the white highlights after you have laid down a color, even if it is a dark color or a black. You can simply use the white paint from a tube and go over the color that you have already laid down, and you will get a nice crisp white highlight. So now the question is, how do you preserve highlights in colored pencils? Do either of these two methods work quite as well with pencils? So let's find out. I'm going to start with masking fluid and see if I can use the same technique that I use with watercolors with my colored pencils. I'm going to lay down the masking fluid very quickly and just roughly. I'm not going to be worrying about clear white lines here, and I'm going to let it dry. So now while the masking fluid is drying, let me lay down a dark layer of Caput Mortuum to try the second technique with. Here I'm just going to lay down a very dark layer of the color with a lot of pressure and a lot of layers. So now that my masking fluid is dry, I'm going to take a sharp pencil and see if I can work around this masking fluid to preserve the highlights. Now, I'm just going to work right now with a very light pressure and go over the masking fluid and around it to see how comfortable it is working with it. Now since masking fluid is actually a very gummy substance, what happens is the pencil point tends to snag in the gummy substance of the masking fluid. So while it is possible to work around it, it's not a pleasant experience, and what you do not get are very clear, crisp and thin highlights. Now I'm going to try the second technique using an ivory white pencil from Polychromos, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go over this dark color that I've already put down, and I'm going to go over it with a white pencil in just one single stroke. Now in a single layer you can see that not much white color has actually gone over the dark color. But if I go over that same line with the white pencil with a little more pressure, I do see a little bit of a highlight that comes through. But that is still not good enough for me. We want crisp highlights for the areas that we want to preserve as white. So now I'm going to show you my two favorite techniques which I very commonly use when I want to preserve highlights for my colored pencil drawings. For the first technique, you will need a tool like this, which is available in the market as a sculpting tool. These come in various sizes and I'm going to use the smallest one I have. Using the point of this tool, I am going to press down on the paper and draw a line. Once I have done this, I can go over this area with a color without worrying about losing the highlight in this line that I have drawn with the sculpting tool. Now this technique works well if you color in several layers with light to medium pressure. But if you use a lot of pressure or try glazing in this area, you might end up flattening the paper and losing that highlight. You also have to remember to color at an angle to the line you have drawn instead of coloring parallel to it. For the second technique, you will need a light color like ivory, white or any of the light grays. Here I am using an ivory pencil and I am going to lay down a line with pressure. Then using another color, I am simply going to color over and around it. In this technique, the ivory pencil will act as a resist and prevent any more color from going over it. But again, this will work only when you are using light to medium pressure. If you press down too hard, you will end up losing the highlight. Now I will give you two examples of where I use these two techniques. I use the first technique with the sculpting tool most often when I have to draw those fine whiskers in a pet portrait. I can draw the fine white hair with the tool and then simply color in the fur around it. This technique is perfect when the highlights you need are very fine and defined. On the other hand, for softer edged highlights like in the veins of a leaf, using the second technique gives you a more natural look. Now in this technique, if you happen to lose some of the highlight because you applied a lot of pressure by mistake, it is relatively easy to bring back the highlight. Simply go over the vein with the ivory pencil again and you will have a clean white highlight again. So that's it for me for this video. I hope these tips will be helpful for you and make your drawing a whole lot easier. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more tutorials on colored pencils. Thank you for watching and bye.